So Liverpool are Premier League champions. After 30 long years, the Reds are champions of England yet again, winning the Premier League for the first time thanks to Chelsea's win against Man City on Thursday night. It's been an incredible season for Jurgen Klopp's team, who have come a long way since his arrival. So today we're going to look at Liverpool's title winners and see where they were 5 years ago. Alisson Becker International. Geographically, no one has come further in the past 5 years than Alisson. While right now he's recognised as one of the greatest goalkeepers in the planet who's helped transform Liverpool from being pretty on the eye to ruthless trophy winners, 5 years ago Alisson was still playing his football in South America. The Brazilian was still keeping net for Internacional, with a move to Roma not coming for another year. Alisson was playing there with his older brother Muriel, no doubt cursing Mr. and Mrs. Becker for giving them the names of a woman. ADRIAN West Ham. I mean, the bloke's won the lottery, hasn't he? He was a free agent drafted in as backup at Liverpool, and now he's won the European Super Cup, Club World Cup, and he's made enough appearances to get a Premier League winners medal. No one would have predicted that 5 years ago, back when Adrian had just completed his first season as West Ham's full-time number one under Sam Allardyce. The Hams had just finished 12th, with Adrian playing all 38 games. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool Academy. 5 years ago, Trent Alexander-Arnold was just 16 years old, dreaming of a chance with the first team and hopefully one day playing in front of a raucous Anfield crowd. It's either that or he was in his room playing FIFA, crying about the fact that Steven Gerrard had just left. Anyway, in the summer of 2015 he would train with the first team under Brendan Rodgers and actually played in a friendly win over Swindon. However, his Premier League debut wouldn't come until October 2016 in a game against Tottenham. Virgil van Dijk, Celtic. Since joining Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk has been recognised as one of the world's best players, but 5 years ago his career was still taking off. In the summer of 2015, the Dutchman was toasting a second Premiership title win with Celtic, where he was named the team of the season for the second year in a row. But the start of the new season saw Celtic crash out of the Champions League early, forcing Van Dijk to consider his future. On September 1st, 2015, Van Dijk would cross the border and join Southampton, a definitive moment in the classy defender's career. He was always destined for the top, but needed that extra stepping stone before joining a giant like Liverpool. Joe Gomez, Liverpool. 5 years ago, Joe Gomez's Liverpool adventure had literally just begun. He'd not long turned 18, and on June 20th, 2015 he left Charlton for Liverpool for £3.5 million. Fast forward to 2020, and just how much would he be worth now? If Maguire's 80 million, Gomez can't be far off that. But he's not leaving Liverpool anytime soon, and is developing into the perfect partner for Virgil van Dijk. Dejan Lovren, Liverpool. The questionable Croatian had just completed his first season with Liverpool 5 years ago, having arrived from Southampton the year before. At £20 million he was the club's most expensive defender at the time, a record that has since been smashed. Lovren's first year at Liverpool was littered with errors, which has continued throughout his Reds career, which is pretty surprising considering he's the self-proclaimed best in the world. Christ, I've made that joke more times than Liverpool have won titles. Joel Matip, Schalke. The unsung hero of Liverpool's defence was still a Schalke player in the summer of 2015, having just finished 6th in the Bundesliga under former Chelsea boss Roberto Di Matteo. Matip was entering the final year of his Schalke contract, which led to him joining Liverpool on a free in 2016. While he's got some incredible teammates now, he'd played alongside some real talent at Schalke as well, including Leroy Sané, Leon Goretzka and Julian Draxler. Andy Robertson, Hull City. The story of Andy Robertson is a remarkable one. Turned down by Celtic, working in a supermarket, climbing the Scottish ranks, and 5 years ago he would suffer another setback. Robbo had just finished his first season in England with Hull City, and sadly for him it ended in relegation, meaning the Championship beckoned for the future Scotland captain. This will be the first of 2 relegations for Robertson at Hull, but fortunately for him that didn't put Klopp off, who's transformed him from a yo-yo player to one of the best left backs in the world. Jordan Henderson, Liverpool. 5 years ago, Jordan Henderson was put in a sink or swim moment. Steven Gerrard left Liverpool, with Henderson replacing him as captain. It was like replacing John Lennon in the Beatles, or replacing Gary Lineker on Match of the Day, or replacing Bradley Walsh on The Chase. It was an unenviable task that could have gone very, very wrong. And while he's had a lot of doubters over the years, Henderson has proved himself as a worthy Liverpool captain, and he'll likely be lifting a lot more trophies in the years to come. Fabinho, Monaco. The Brazilian star is a key player at Liverpool nowadays after a slow start, but 5 years ago he was just getting himself settled in Europe. After 2 years on loan at Monaco, Fabinho finally joined them permanently in May 2015 from Rio Ave, putting an end to an odd few years for the midfield in which he also played for Real Madrid on loan. But at Monaco he won the Ligue 1 title in 2017, and 3 years after that he's got himself another winner's medal. Jorginho Wijnaldum, PSV. In the summer of 2015 things were all about to change for Gini Wijnaldum. The Dutch midfielder was a man in demand, but in the end it was Newcastle who secured his signature, joining the Magpies on July 11th. In black and white, Wijnaldum was brilliant, providing they were playing at home. His first and only season ended with 11 goals, all of which came at St James's Park, and it also ended in relegation. However, Wijnaldum had done enough to show he belonged in the top flight, and enough to convince Jurgen Klopp that he was right for the Liverpool midfield. James Milner, Liverpool. If Man City had a time machine, they'd probably go back 5 years and stop James Milner leaving for free. Actually, that's a lie, they'd go back and make sure they didn't breach financial fair play. But anyway, they probably are a bit disappointed they'll have to play like Milner for nothing, but that's what happened in the summer of 2015. Mr Versatile, or Mr Boring depending on what your views are on drinking tea and cutting your grass, joined the Reds in June 2015 and was quickly named as vice-captain, which is what he still is now, adored by Liverpool fans far and wide for his exceptional work ethic and never-say-die attitude. Adam Lallana, Liverpool. Lallana is leaving Liverpool this summer when his contract comes to an end, but in the summer of 2015 he had just completed his first season as a Red. It went fairly well with 5 goals coming his way, but it was after Klopp arrived that he truly started to play his best football in a Liverpool shirt. Until the injuries killed him, of course. Now just seeing him on a football pitch seems like a shock to the system. Naby Keita, Red Bull Salzburg. While Henderson had the unenviable task of replacing Gerrard as Liverpool captain, Keita had the unenviable task of being the first player to wear the number 8 since his departure. But in 2015 Keita was elsewhere, having just completed his first season with Red Bull Salzburg. He won the Austrian Bundesliga in 2015 and did it again the year after, but this time he scored 12 goals and was named Player of the Year. Will that happen for him in a Liverpool shirt? If he's good as Liverpool fans on Twitter tell us, he'd probably be the Premier League top scorer and the Prime Minister by next year. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Arsenal. 5 years ago, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was struggling to really live up to the early hype at Arsenal, sat at home wondering what he can do better, whilst listening to his favourite band Little Mix staring at the band's poster on his wall. Now he's part of the Liverpool trophy winning machine whilst doing stupid TikTok dances with his girlfriend Perry Edwards, praying she doesn't find out that he actually fancied Jade first. Takumi Minamino, Red Bull Salzburg. Liverpool's most recent signing is still getting acquainted to life in the Premier League, and 5 years ago he was doing the same in Austria. The Japanese forward joined RB Salzburg in January 2015 and scored 3 goals en route to winning the title straight away. Some things never change. XHERDAN Shaqiri, Inter Milan. The Swiss superstar with his calves like bowling balls has played for some huge clubs, and 5 years ago he was with Inter Milan, but that time was coming to an end. Shaqiri joined the Italian Giants in January 2015 and signed a 4.5-year deal with Roberto Mancini's side. But with 4 years left on his contract he was shipped out of the San Siro. Shaqiri joined Stoke in August 2015 where he dazzled and frustrated Potters fans with his inconsistent performances. Divock Origi, Liverpool. Origi's had an odd Liverpool career. He's gone from the unwanted man to a cult hero, scoring key goals against Everton and Barcelona before wrapping things up in the Champions League final against Spurs. But 5 years ago, Origi was just getting started at Liverpool. He joined the Reds in 2014 but returned to Lille for another year on loan. He scored 8 Ligue 1 goals, which is actually his best league tally so far. That summer he officially joined up with Liverpool, playing under Rodgers for a few months before Jurgen Klopp's arrival. Mohamed Salah, Fiorentina. 5 years ago, Mo Salah was technically still a Chelsea player, but he left the Blues on loan in January 2015, joining Fiorentina on an 18-month deal with an option to buy. The only issue was that Salah didn't want to stay. By August 2015, Salah had left Fiorentina, instead taking his talents to the Italian capital. The Egyptian king joined Roma on loan with an option to buy, an option they of course took up. 5 years ago, Mo Salah was just a victim of the Chelsea loan system, now he's one of the best players on the planet. Roberto Firmino, Liverpool. Bobby Firmino was a key part of Jurgen Klopp's system, but 5 years ago he was still in the process of joining the club. In June 2015, Liverpool agreed a deal with Hoffenheim to sign the Brazilian, subject to a work permit and medical, and on July 4th he officially joined the club. He was alright to begin with, but like so many players at the arrival of Klopp that took Firmino to the level he is now. Sadio Mane, Southampton. Our third former RB Salzburg player, Mane was at Southampton in the summer of 2015, having just completed his first season at St Mary's. He ended it with 10 goals, 3 of which gave him the honour of scoring the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history. 5 years ago, Mane was quick and electric in possession, but often raw in the final third. In a Liverpool shirt, he's the complete package. All he needs now is a trademark celebration as he just keeps copying everyone else. And finally, Jurgen Klopp, unemployed. 5 years ago, Jurgen Klopp was unemployed. Simple as that. He decided to leave Dortmund, with his final game ending in defeat against Wolfsburg in the German Cup final. And as soon as he left Dortmund, it seemed like a game of poker as to who managed to pick him up. Come October 2015 it was Liverpool who blinked first, shockingly giving Brendan Rodgers his P45, which led to an awkward moment between Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher. Some say Carragher still longs for the touch of Henry. But anyway, Liverpool were lucky to get Klopp to the club, and within 5 years he's won it all. Come 2025, will Liverpool and Klopp still be a trophy-winning juggernaut? For everyone else's sake, let's hope not. So that's where Liverpool's title-winning squad were 5 years ago. Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport. And until next time, we'll see you around.